Hello, it is Mellow Cakes from the future, and I will be saying that, for one thing, one of my longest videos ever, and the second thing is that this video is filled with many mistakes. It was read through very early in the morning. By that I mean from between the hours of 3 and 5, so my brain was not in the right place to be recording at this hour, but I really wanted to be giving you guys something, so please enjoy. Hello, it is Melon Cakes, and I know it has been forever since I have posted a video. School has just started for me a couple weeks ago, so I've been pretty busy with that. I'm taking a lot of higher classes that are going to be pretty difficult and give me a buttload of work, but I have found a wonderful fan fiction, and I just wanted to see if I could record something for you guys, because I know it's been a while. I've also seen a lot of people responding to my one Izuku Midoriya X listener, my most recent one on that, and I promise I will re-upload with a quieter background music if I can. Maybe not directly after this. It is almost 3 in the morning and I'm just now about to record this super freaking long fanfiction. So I hope y'all hang in there with me on that one, but I promise I will get that done. But we are going to get into this fanfiction. It is called It Is You, which is a Sero X listener. And I will put the author for the fanfiction and also our wonderful thumbnail art in the description. So let's get started to this. Sitting in class, you looked outside the classroom window, while all the kids explained what they wanted to be when they were older. A hero! It was everyone's dream in the first grade to be a hero, even if they didn't have quirks, or quirks not strong enough to be one. Listener Chen, what about you? Your teacher asked as you came back to reality. What do you want to be when you're older? She asked you in a sweet tone, like she does every day. You stayed quiet for a bit to think about it. It would be nice if I could help my dad back in his workshop, you say, your little eyes widen in excitement, thinking of the things you could do once you were older. What? Don't you want to be a hero? A kid asked, turning in his chair. Listener-chan, get up! You're gonna be late for school! Your mom shook you awake. What? Huh? You said, looking at the clock. You yelped, running over to get changed, making a mess along the way. You ran to the kitchen and grabbed an apple and ran out the door. It hadn't been that long since you were accepted into UA. It all felt like a dream. Sure, with your quirk you didn't get accepted into the hero course, which you didn't want to, but either way you still got accepted, which was surreal to you. You ran through the door and slid into your chair. You sighed as a girl next to you began to giggle. What do you want, Hatsume? You asked, looking over the pink-haired girl sitting next to you. You were almost late, she cackled. And that's funny because you didn't even put on your uniform correctly, and you didn't brush your hair. You look a mess. She laughed, holding onto her stomach. Shut up, I'll fix it later, you sighed, slumping further into your chair. Hey, listener! Hatsume yelled across the room you were in. You were talking to Power Loader, your teacher, about a blueprint you had been waiting to make. So you showed it to your teacher first, to make sure there weren't any mistakes. Well, excuse me, you said, turning to face the girl across the room, waving her hands around. What do you need? It had been pure coincidence that the two of you became friends. If you were being honest, you didn't want to be her friend in the first place. Yet, here you are, being friends with her. What did Sensei say about our design? Hatsume yelled as soon as you got to her. He was just about to say something. Are you already working on it? You yelled, snatching the machine from her hands. She put her hands up in defense while slowly backing up as you disassembled the soon-to-be bomb in your hands. It first started as a request from the teachers since the girl couldn't stop building things, which soon led to an explosion. We want you to take care of her, Palador said, placing a hand on your shoulder. What? Why? You were so confused. You had never talked to her before. Why would the teachers want you of all people, to be her personal babysitter? Because, he hesitated, the school can't really spend money just because Hatsume blows up the place. So they asked me to see if she could somehow, well, stop blowing up the place. and I thought of you because of your quirk. You're able to sense danger, right? So you can quickly tell her to stop when she's doing before she blows up the place again. Power Lotus said, lifting up a finger as he explained. With your quirk, you'll be able to tell if she's about to explode the class, right? Your teacher asked. He held onto your shoulder, tightening a bit. He seemed kind of desperate. You sighed, pinching the bridge of your nose. You knew just how full of herself she could be. And by past experiences, how much of a struggle it would be for you to babysit her. You stood there, giving as much thought into as you could, but finally gave in. Fine. Oh, sorry, you said as you bumped into someone. Class had just ended and you were walking next to Hatsume as you both walked out the school. Nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it, the boy said. He looked up at the boy. He had black hair that went right about shoulder length and had a rather big, goofy grin. You couldn't help but to slightly smile back at the boy in front of you. You had to admit, the boy was cute. Great, you say, looking down at the papers scattered across the floor. You sighed, bending down to pick the mess up with a familiar voice speaks to you. Oh, sorry about that, the boy says as he starts to help you. Just a few moments ago, you were scurrying down the hall, trying an errand for your teacher. The halls weren't crowded since class had started not that long ago. Heavy, you thought as you closed your eyes when you bumped into someone. Here, let me help you. You look up to see a oh-so-familiar face match up with a voice. Oh, okay, you say, picking up the papers. Sure, your hands touch every once in a while, but you don't think much of it. You just continued while someone kept thinking otherwise. He blushed. The first time your hands bumped into each other. Sorry, he stuttered. Oh, it's okay, you replied, continuing to curse to yourself for dropping the papers you told yourself you weren't going to drop. He stared at you. I bumped into them yesterday. Did they just not remember me? Sero thought, looking at you. You were slightly pouting, but you quickly caught him staring at you. Is something on my face? You asked, slightly tilting your head to the side as you got up. With his eyes slightly wider, he shook his head. No, sorry, he said, looking off to the side blushing. Thanks for helping me. You look familiar. What's your name? You ask as Sero looks at you. Really? You don't remember me? He asked, confused. You bumped into me yesterday. I'm Sero, he chuckled. Oh, you smiled. Doesn't ring a bell, but thanks for helping, you say, waving at the boy as you continue to walk away. Sero stared at you as you walked away. They don't remember me? Aizawa, you yelled, pushing the door to his class open. He looked at you and slowly made his way to you. Listener, go away, I'm teaching. He slammed the door shut on your face. You stared at the door in front of you. 'Cause that's gonna make me go away, you smiled, opening the door again. Aizawa, you whispered. Listener, he says, looking at you. I have your papers, you said, walking in. He sighed. Why do I even try with you? He says, walking over to you. Gee, man, I have no clue, you reply. Shouldn't you be in class? As a matter of fact, yes. So then why aren't you? You look to the side. Because I had to give you these papers. They're blank. They are? You looked at the blank papers in your hand. Huh, you said, blinking twice. Well, you chuckled. I think I printed these wrong. He smiled. You're what, 15? And don't know how to use a printer? Aizawa sighed. You stayed quiet. I know how to use one. You just put the paper in and click the button, no? You asked, looking up at Aizawa, who lightly whacked you in the head with papers. Sero helped them print these papers. Yes, sir. Wow, you really did it, Elbows, you said, once you had the printed papers in your hands. Elbows? Sero questioned, smiling at your amazement from the now printed papers. Yeah, because of your elbows. But anyway, I gotta go now. Thanks for your help, you yelled. But Sero lifted his arm up in an attempt to reach to you, but had you close the door, leaving Sero behind. We're coming back to the same classroom, he sighed, scratching the back of his head. You asked. Yes, darling, she replied. Is Dad there with you? You asked, peeking your head into the kitchen. No. Why? She asked, turning around to face your weak figure, slowly walking towards your mom. Because I was just wondering, you replied, looking to the side. Well, what is it that you need? Mom, after researching, I've came to the conclusion that I'm using non-binary. I would like to go by they/them pronouns. Oh. Ouch. Sorry, you said, walking past the person you just bumped into. The sports festival was right around the corner, which is a big deal for the kids in the support course. They finally get to show their skills with machines to attract companies for their futures, helping pros by building support items. Pretty self-explanatory. For you and Hatsume, this was a big thing for both of you. Hatsume having her own reasons, and yours. You just wanted to build more support items. What could you say? You loved building. Ever since your dad rejected your offer to help him with his job, co-owning a mechanic shop, your dad made you choose the next best option. But, Dad, no, I want you to have a decent job so you can earn money. It may seem like all fun and games for right now, but you'll soon come to learn to regret this decision, your dad protested. You sighed. Fine, so what should I do? You asked, laying your elbows into the car your dad was working on. You rested your head onto your hands as you used your free hand to pass your dad the needed tools. Finish school, go to college, find a home, settle down, find a lover. Your dad went on and on about what you could do when you were older. You sighed, rolling your eyes while doing so. And if I don't know which high school I want to go to? You asked, handing him the wrench. Your dad perked up from underneath the car, standing up. He wiped his hands on the spare towel before looking at you. You can always go to UA. You slightly pouted at the flashback. So mean, you mumbled, zapping yourself soon afterwards. Ouch! You shook your hand. What, zap yourself? Hatsume asked, leaning onto your table. Yeah. There was silence for a while until you decided to break it. So, decide which one of your babies you're gonna use for the festival? You asked, looking up slightly towards Hatsume. You caught Hatsume as her eyes slightly widened. Thank you for asking, she grinned. After Hatsume explained what she was going to bring to the festival, you briefly explained what you wanted to bring. You stretched as you left the shop. You'd been in there for the whole day, and your back and bottom weren't too happy about that. Whoa, sorry, you say as you yawn, bumping into another person. Oh, it's fine, the person said. Look up and noticed there was a pile of students in front of a classroom door. Probably Class 1A. You yawned, walking past the crowd. Somehow the class had seemed to be in many villain accidents. The poor students, they never get a break. You chuckled. Those 1A dorks, you mumbled. What did you say, you damn extra? The boy next to you yelled. I'll kill you. Whoa, man, chill out, you yawned. Make it sound like you're a villain or something. You smiled, looking at the boy next to you, who froze. Have you never gotten in trouble for that? I mean, if I were a teacher, I would have thought that you were a villain of some kind of traitor. You smiled. Unless you've never put up through it and that whole deadly vibe you want to have is just a mask. You looked at the blonde-haired boy, whose aura was filled with flames. He looked up, giving you a death glare as his lip twitched. You could even see a vein popping out his neck and his temple. Gotcha, he thought as you smiled. What's with the look? You innocently asked, tilting your head to the side. Oh, I see. You just don't want to admit it. You smiled. The boy started to shake. You were having too much fun adding fuel to the already lit flame. I'm gonna kill you, he yelled, stepping towards you. He lifted his hands, letting an explosion blow in your face. Oh wait, was that a threat? You laughed. Tell me something I haven't heard, you said, starting to walk away. Mr. Anger Issues over here will never be a hero with that problem of yours, you said, turning around as you started walking backwards. You noticed the boy jump before he started to blast his way towards you. Suddenly, the boy fell to the floor. He snorted. Ouch. You okay? You laughed, walking up to him as he started yelling profanities at you. Bakugo, someone said from behind you. You turned and see Aizawa with his quirk activated. He walked past you as he picked up Bakugo by the back of his blazers and started to drag him away. You know, I've always wondered why your hair sticks up when you use your quirk. He questioned as he passed you. Just go home, Aizawa said, rubbing his eyes. Listener! Hatsume yelled, walking in through your door. Yeah, what do you need? You asked, closing your textbook. We ran out of chips. Can you go get them some more? She asked, giving you an open smile. What? No, why can't you go get some more? You asked, annoyed. Because I'm still working on my project, Hatsume said while giving you a cheeky grin. Get out. Come on, I'll give you the money for it. What money? You're flat broke. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You wasted all your money on that project. That one that ended up failing, you said, pointing your index finger upwards as you explained. Hatsume stood there, confused. She quickly left the room before coming back with $20 in her hand. Told you I'm not, she smiled. Now go my food. I can't concentrate on my babies on an empty stomach. While you're at it, can you buy the groceries? Your mom yelled from the living room, where she was currently watching one of her favorite shows. You groaned, getting up from your bed, glaring at Hatsume as you changed. Leaving the same shirt you were wearing, you put on pants, shoes, and walked out the door. Stupid Hatsume, you pouted as you walked your way to the store. Once in the store, you had everything you needed. You walked out. You struggled carrying too many bags in your hands. Oh, hey, listener, a voice from behind you said. You turned towards the voice. It was a boy waving towards you. Elbows? You asked once the boy had caught up. Oh, you remembered me. Even if that isn't my name, it's some process, Sero said, giving you a bright smile. Do you need some help? Those bags look pretty heavy, Sero asked, grabbing your bags before you could answer. You stared at him as he struggled to fit all the bags in his arms. You chuckled. Here. You grabbed some of the bags from his hand as the two of you began to walk to your home. The two of you walked in silence. You noticed Sero glancing at you every now and then. You didn't say anything, you just continued to look forward while questioning if there was something up with your face. So... You looked over to Sero. So... He replied. The sports festival, it's coming up, Sero said, making it sound more like a question. Yeah, it is. I still need to finish building my support items, you sighed, mumbling the last part. You were surprised that Sero heard that part by saying, support items? Yeah. You raised an eyebrow while smiling. The schools allow the support course to use support items, you continued. As long as we are the ones who have built them, then it's okay to use it during this festival. It'll also help us bring more attention from companies, and if we're lucky, they can even buy one of our items. Gee, exciting, isn't it? You exclaimed. That's why I'm working hard to make sure my items stand out more than that destructive bubblegum balls. Sero looked at you while you looked at your hand, forming it into a fist as your eyes sparkled with determination. You really want to defeat this, bubblegum ball? Sero smiled. You nodded your head. It'll finally get her to shut up about her designs always being the best. Even if I'm the one who designed them and she just gave me details of how she wanted it to look and work. So you could say they're miracide, which they are, just her ideas. But she takes all the credit for it. Your eye twitched as Sero slightly blushed at your pouting face. Well, I hope you do beat this bubblegum ball. You turned in Sero's direction as he smiled. It caused you to smile, too. The two of you laughed and talked the entire way to your home. It was one of the most random things. You talked about anything that was on your mind, like, is a hot dog a sandwich? I mean, technically it is, you stated as you laughed. How? Sero protested. A hot dog is a hot dog. Change my mind, Sero said while smiling. I mean, a sandwich is bread with the sandwich things inside. Hot dogs are pretty similar. You have the bread, the sausage in the middle, and any other condiments you want in the middle. It's literally a sandwich. You started to laugh even harder at Sero's reaction. But it's... He sighed. But nothing, you know I'm right, you said, walking to your door. Anyways, I'll see you later, elbows. You smiled, taking the bags from the boy. You know I have a name, right? Sero asked, placing his hands into his pockets. Yeah, I don't remember your name. Elbows are much easier to remember, well, because of your elbows, you explained as Sero nodded his head. Well, I'll be going now. I'll see you around? He asked, looking back at you, to which you nodded by saying yes. He smiled before walking away. Once inside your home, your mom looking at you smiling. Who was the boy? She questioned while smirking. You smiled at her. No, Mom, he's not my boyfriend. You smiled, placing down the bags of groceries. He's just a friend I just recently met. You began to place away the items as Hatsume ran to the kitchen. Did you get... You threw her bag of chips in her face. She caught it before it hit the floor. Thank you, Hatsume sang, excitedly running back to the garage. That girl is going to be the end of me, I swear. You sighed, looking down at your soon-to-be dinner. Okay. Your teacher clapped his hands together. Everyone ready? He asked, looking at his students. They all replied with a simple nod or yes. Hatsume looked over at you before patting her back. We got this, she said, smiling as her eyes sparkled. Just imagine all those companies looking at the things I made. She looked over to you as you slightly raised an eyebrow. That my lovely sibling designed, Hatsume added, emphasizing the lovely while smiling meekly. It's true that Hatsume considers you a family member. You've been there with the girl through the little bits you've known her. A lot can happen in a few months. Knock, knock, knock. Go to the front door, wondering who could be at the door at this hour. It was almost midnight. Sneaking over to your window, you looked outside, noticing a familiar pink-haired female. Once you opened the door, there stood a Hatsume with tears in her eyes. It was the first time you've seen the girl express any other emotions other than the self-centered ones she already has. It caught you off guard, if you were being honest. Hatsume, what are you doing here? It's almost midnight, you asked as the girl lifted her head. Could I just stay here for the night, please? She asked, looking up at you. It looked like she was going through something rough, so it would be rude not to. I mean, she doesn't have any other friends. You sighed, thinking about how your family would react. See, they were kind of strict when it came to friends being over or spending the night. Yeah, you stepped to the side, allowing her to walk in. Just let me talk to my parents real quick and I'll be right back. After a not-so-long talk with your parents about Hatsume, they agreed to let Hatsume stay for the night. Sitting next to the empty cushion of your couch, you asked, What's wrong? Hatsume looked at you before breaking into tears. Whoa, you said, shocked about Hatsume's reaction from when she hugged you. You froze. You didn't know what to do. There wasn't anything you really could say. You sat there as she hugged you, gently patting Hatsume's back as she held on to you tightly. Hey, you said as the girl beneath you sniffed. You wanna go get some chocolate? She smiled, trying to make Hatsume feel better. It was her favorite food after all. She looked up at you before sitting up. Yeah, okay. Her voice cracked. A small frown creeped up your face to see one of your friends be in a state like this. There's times when someone, no matter the age or time, goes to a place. A place where one can be themselves without having others judge them for it, or a place for concentration. It's a place that every human has, no matter big or small, the mind. When one is in the thinking state of mind, a person can come to realize or even come up with ideas. Ideas, whether they may be good or bad, in the end, it all just matters of how you think of it. For many people, this thinking moment takes place at night, and for others throughout the day. Some even think during both. Thinking. It keeps humans, well, human. With thinking, thoughts, ideas, all of those things have led to modern today. Light, fire, homes, cars, music, entertainment. Anything and everything was created with one simple thought. It's weird when you think about it. How a simple, ordinary human just woke up and thought to make something to light up the place without using a candle. Of course, people think different things every day. Whether it be if they're trying to remember something, to even just think random topics to talk about in later dates. Thinking is done at every moment of every day. Even right now. But for right now, let's just focus on someone 2 hours ago. Hatsume paced around her bedroom. Should I do it or not? The only thought that ran through her mind as she walked. Today was the day she told her parents one of her biggest secrets. It hadn't been that long since she found this out. Maybe like a year or two ago? Back in her middle school years, Hatsume was more on the quiet side. She was an outcast nobody really paid attention to. And to Hatsume, she honestly didn't mind or care that nobody talked to her. She was too busy working with her babies to even have time for friends. She was completely fine on her own. It was around her second year of junior high when she was walking down the hallway and bumped into someone. The accident caused Hatsume to drop her project, which fell to the floor and broke. Oh, Hatsume said, looking at the now broken project. Oh, sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention to where I was going, a voice said. Hatsume looked up to meet a pair of violet eyes. She froze. It was like time stopped for the pink-haired girl. They stared at each other for a while until one spoke up. You okay? The girl with violet eyes asked, slightly raising an eyebrow while leaning her head to the right. What was this feeling that Hatsume was experiencing that made the girl feel this way? Yeah, the pink-haired girl's face went 2 shades darker. Yes, sorry, Hatsume yelled, smiling weirdly at the taller female. Okay then, I'll see you around. The girl waved before catching up with her friends. Hatsume stood there, shocked about how she acted. She felt her face heat up as she gently placed her left hand up to her cheek. As time went by, they kept seeing each other more often, whether it be by accident or by passing each other in the hall, and each time watching the girl with beautiful violet eyes, with purple hair to match, gave the same beautiful smile. It gave Hatsume's and butterflies in her stomach just thinking about the girl. Hey, Jiro. Oh, Hatsume, right? Hatsume blushed. She remembered her name. I mean, they barely talked to each other. Yeah, Hatsume smiled. I was just wondering if you wanted to have lunch with me. You don't have to, you don't want to. I totally understand if you don't want to, since we've barely talked at all. I was just wondering if you wanted to get to know each other more and maybe become friends? Jiro looked at Hatsume, who had sweat painted across her face, and chuckled. Sure. Fast forward to their 3rd year of middle school. They had become close friends since then, and Hatsume's feelings only grew for the violet-haired girl more and more each day. Hatsume had finally decided to tell Jiro about her feelings. So Hatsume sat at her desk, pulled out a piece of paper, and began her work. This was all in her home, of course, since she didn't want the rest of the school to know about her feelings toward Jiro just yet. The next day came, and Hatsume was a nervous wreck. She was prepared, but she wasn't at the same time. She didn't know how to start the conversation, but also how was she supposed to give Jiro the letter? Hatsume was snapped out of her thoughts when Jiro came walking up to her. Calm, she smiled, just made Hatsume more calm, more collected. She felt like she could do this, and just imagined what more she could do once she was hers. Hatsume took a breath in. She was confident in herself, confident that Jiro would feel the same and would become her girlfriend. Confident that Jiro felt the same way because of all the signals Jiro had thrown in her direction. Hey Hatsume, what's up? Jiro asked in that sweet and calming tone that made Hatsume feel like she was on cloud 9. Jiro, hey! Hatsume started. Nothing much. Earlier I was just thinking of how around this time last year was the first time we met. It was back then when I didn't have friends because I thought that I didn't need them. But after I bumped into you and after I started to know you more, I just couldn't help but think of how stupid I was to believe that. It made me realize that there's more than just building things. And you've really changed my view on the world. So I wanted to thank you for that. And to give you this. Hatsume handed the letter in neatly written handwritten writing with the words, "To my closest friend," on the front. Jiro stared at the letter in Hatsume's hands. She blinked once, twice. The girl smiled. "Hatsume," she said. Hatsume looked up. She thought Jiro would be shocked, happy, disgusted, anything except what she was seeing. Jiro was crying. "As much as I love you, Hatsume, I can't, I'm sorry." "Why?" Hatsume said in almost a whisper. "I've only seen you as a friend, Hatsume. You're so much fun to be around, but I can't see myself with you. I'm so sorry. I don't know if I could accidentally gave you mixed signals, make you think I might like you back, but even then, I kinda already like someone else. I'm sorry, but we can just put this behind us and still be friends." Oh. So this is what heartbreak feels like, Hatsume thought, looking down at the floor as her vision began to blur. "It hurts." Hatsume smiled. "Right, I'm so dumb, I'm sorry." Hatsume smiled as tears began to flow down her rosy cheeks. "I don't know what I was thinking, and I don't think we should be friends anymore." She looked down, a shadow casting upon her eyes. "I can't just move on like nothing has happened, Jiro. It would hurt too much." Hatsume smiled as she turned around and began to walk away. She stopped after 2 steps. "And I wish you the best of luck with the person you like." From that day forward, she devoted herself to building, to push away her feelings and basically shut herself from the world, to not hurt herself like how she just did. It didn't take that long after Hatsume gained the personality she has now, thanks to her projects to keep her company. Thinking back to it now, Hatsume felt stupid for letting herself be vulnerable like that. She vowed never again to let herself open up like that. So what was she doing crying in front of Listener? Will had her to be just as close to Listener as she once was with the violet-haired girl. Alright, she came out to her parents. There are many parents out there that when their child comes out as part of the LGBTQ+, they're very supportive of their child. That's how Hatsume thought things would go. But she forgot that this isn't always the case. Different parents react in different ways when it comes to these things. She was always envious of you because of your supporting parents. Her parents ended up kicking her out of her house because she decided to come out. Since Hatsume had nowhere to go, she went to the one person that she considered a friend. You. You hugged Hatsume tighter after Hatsume explained the situation. Not long after, she kept coming over to your house. Not that you minded, and each time you let her walk into your home. Each time getting more and more comfortable with the family, until your parents decided to take her into their wings. You were happy, not because you finally had a sibling, but because Hatsume was happy. She was being loved and accepted for who she was. You came back to reality when Hatsume placed her arm around your shoulder, pulling you close to her. "We got this," she said, raising her fist so the 2 of you could do your little handshake that you both came up with one random day. "Yeah, we do," you said as you laughed, placing your arm around her as well. "Let's go and impress those companies," Hatsume yelled, as it was finally time for the sports festival to begin. You walked out into the area with Hatsume by your side. You gave her a side glance as you both prepared yourself for what laid in store for the 2 of you. Knowing Hatsume, she'd probably go off on her own and do the things she does best, when given the chance. But you were there to make sure she didn't. You were there to make the both of you even better. Plus, as much fun as it sounds, you can't have her embarrassing you on live TV. The crowd was loud as President Mike's voice boomed throughout the area. You popped your knuckles as pro hero Midnight appeared on the stage, explaining the rules and whatnot. She called up a boy with blonde hair, the one with anger issues. Either way, you didn't expect for the boy to be so full of himself. "I just want to let everyone know that I'm gonna win this entire thing." At least he had the confidence in himself that he would win. With more explanation by Midnight, she announced the first challenge. "An obstacle course, huh?" you thought as Hatsume nudged your arm. How lucky are we? She yelled in a whisper tone as her eyes shined with excitement. You smiled back. You bring all of your inventions? Babies. Hatsume cut you off. There are babies. You looked at her. Your lips twitched. Right. Did you bring our babies? You corrected yourself. Yes, I did. What about you? You nodded your head. Mm-hmm. Once lined up at the starting mark of the race, you and Hatsume standing near the front of the huddle of kids, you watched the lights slowly turn red until it reached green. It didn't take long for you to start getting squished by students trying to get to the other side. Or rather, it was very, very annoying. Each step you tried to take would only get you back to the step you took beforehand, not to mention the amount of times someone elbowed you. You took matters into your own hands as you looked behind you, making sure Hatsume was still there, which she was. You grabbed her hand and forced your way through, finally making some progress. Thanks to your quirk, you were able to sense some danger ahead. Time froze for you. Okay, so there's danger ahead. This narrows it down to about 3 options. The roof of the tunnel collapses, there could be a student who causes a domino effect and sends the rest of the group falling as well, or something happens up ahead that affects the group behind. The possibility of option 1 happening is little to none, so that one's out of the race. Option 2, more likely it happens, some goes with option 3. Knowing teachers, this race is about showing off our quirks or inventions to internships, companies, so the cause of option 3 is most likely to happen. The question is, what would that sad person do? Something about the ground so it freezes people in places so that students can pass with ease to get ahead is what I'm going with. So if that's the case... Coming back to reality, you looked towards Hatsume. Hatsume! You yelled, grabbing the girl and throwing her on someone before you did the same. You beamed with excitement when you saw your hunch was correct. The ground did freeze, and it froze everyone in place. Well, almost everyone. There were some kids who managed to avoid it. They flew in the air as you apologized to the people you and Hatsume had jumped on. Skating around the other students who were slipping and falling on the ice, you looked up as President Mike's voice booming. Can the Golden Eggs, aiming to be future heroes, get through the massive Robo-Infernos? There stood the 0-pointers that teachers told us to avoid during the entrance exams. Great. Not long after there was a boy, assuming he was the same as who froze the ground earlier, froze all the robots. He froze them. Between the legs, we can get through. I wouldn't be there if I were you, the boy yelled, still running. I froze them when they were unbalanced. And just as quick as it happened, the robots tumbled down. There was a smoke that came after the fall of the 0-pointers, as well as some ice. There was some commotion about a student being trapped under the fallen robot. Like I die! A red-haired boy yelled, breaking through the robot. It looked as almost his skin had hardened up. Not long after, another student comes through, bursting through. Similar to the red-headed boy, just as was steel. That class A really is filled with bastards, the boy yells. As the both of you ran off, you looked to your side. Elbows? You felt as you saw him stretch before he used his quirk to fly in the air. This gave you an idea. You looked over at Hatsume, since you wanted to use one of her inventions, but he had already wandered off. So much for keeping her with you. You sighed, looking around. Fallen robots all around. Quickly walking over to one of you, got to work. Hey, the first berry is a piece of cake? Then what about the second? President Mike yells. He had finally caught up with the rest of the group, staring down at the abyss below. Where Hatsume, before she... Glitter, here it is. Here my chance to show off. It's time for my support items. To be in the limelight. Look at all you support companies across the country. War arrows and hover souls. Glitter! There she is. You're from the support course, a girl yelled. Currently, you were trying to push your way through a wave of students to catch up to Hatsume. What? It's okay to bring items, another asked. The hero course undergoes combat training regularly, right? You had finally pushed through the crowd and got to Hatsume. In order to keep things fair, she continued, we're allowed to equip items and costumes as long as we've developed them ourselves. Hatsume, you say, getting to her side. Listener, you came right in time. She yells, getting ready to test her equipment. As I was saying, for those of us in the support course, this is the place where we can show off our ideas and skills to companies. Hatsume yelled before clicking a button and shooting off into the cliff. Hatsume, no! You tried to run after her, but she didn't make it in time and she floated off into the next plate. You sighed. Power Loader's gonna be mad at me. But then again, she is doing what the support course is meant to do in the sports festival. You looked at the two girls who were talking to Hatsume before. He won't get mad at me for that, right? You asked two girls as they both gave you a confused face. You nervously smiled. Anyway, Elbows, mind if I borrow some tape? You asked, walking up to him. Me? You questioned. Yeah, you. Who else can shoot tape from their elbows? You chuckled. You got out your own invention from your backpack, jumping into the cliff. Fixing the board as you feel, you quickly turned it on, causing you to float. Lucky me, you sang, catching up with Hatsume. You zoomed past her, giving her a peace sign as she yelled some gibberish you couldn't hear properly. Not until your cork turns around again. Uh-oh, you say as you start to fall. There was something that wrapped around your waist and pulled you up. Elbows, you say, as Sero gave you a lopsided grin. So calling me Elbows? As thanks for saving your butt, you could at least call me by my name. Sero sighed as the two of you landed. Right, your name. You say as you began to walk away. Anyways, see you later, your name, and thanks for saving me, you yelled, now running. How could you tell him you forgot it? Sort of. It gives you butterflies when you say his name, but you don't really know why. That lopsided grin was enough to give you major butterflies in your stomach. You continued running, not really thinking about it until you stepped on a mind bomb. It caught you off guard when you were suddenly flying into the air. You slapped your cheeks as you continued to run. This is the last obstacle and then you're done, listener. You got this, you told yourself, getting up from the fall. You got up and thanks to your luck, you stepped on another bomb. You found Hatsume once reaching the end. You sighed, looking at Hatsume before breaking out into laughter. What the hell happened, do you say? I get ahead most, and then all of a sudden I'm close to last. Safe to say you didn't make it past to the next round. Not that you really cared, the sports festival was more for the hero course to show off their quirks to internships. Sure, there was a benefit to the other courses, but you've done all that you could have done, so there's no need for you to continue. You watched from your seat, clenching onto your chair arm as you saw Hatsume, down below, talking to the person in first place. He had green hair. It looked so fluffy, ignoring the fact that he randomly burst into tears. Not just any kind, but a whole fountain of tears. What a weird quirk. But how they let him in the hero course, you thought, watching your friend get close to the boy, taking out her inventions, or babies if you will. They started to talk, while a short-haired brunette walked the two, assuming they were in the same team with a weird crying quirk. Your classmate, all worriedly, stared at you as your aura changed. You wanted to go down there and tell her to stop. You've been trying to stop that weird habit of hers, getting close to people's personal spaces. You had thought it was working, but it was nice knowing all that hard work you put to trying to change that habit didn't work. Lunch break was about to happen after the students found their groups. You sighed. This is gonna be a long day, huh? It was lunch break halfway through the day. Half more to go, you thought, smiling lazily while closing your eyes. Thump. Oh, sorry there, you said, looking at the stranger who you bumped into. Shinzo? You'll get an extra if you keep practicing, you reassured Shinzo. He sighed. Come on, stop being so negative, you looked at him, placing your hand on your hips. Pouting like that is going to get you nowhere. Ouch! You placed in the blowtorch after burning yourself. Shinzo ruffled his hands through his messy hair. I know, he said, looking back up at you. But it's hard when everyone else keeps telling you your quirk is one of danger and villainy. You inhaled, looking at Shinzo before exhaling and walking over at him. Well, do you want to use it for evil? You asked, resting your head on your hands. Shinzo looked at you. No, he said before looking away. Then I don't see the problem in you wanting to be a hero. But no buts, ifs, or ands. If you have the mindset of wanting to be a hero, then F what other people think. You see all the kids here that want to be heroes. They're all here because they have the mindset of wanting to use their quirks for the greater good. It doesn't matter if you have an evil or heroic quirk. All that matters is how you want to use it. Now stop moping, get out there, and train to show those bozos who were wrong. You yelled, pushing Shinza out of the workshop the two of you were in. Kind of rude of me to just shove him out like that, but you know it'll be well worth it later on, you said with a determined look, going back to work. Listener, did you see me out there? Huh? You think my babies are attracting some companies? Hatsume yelled, grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you. Yeah, you started out while getting dizzy, holding your head after she stopped. Oh, I hope so, Hatsume exclaimed, hopping in place. Speaking of which, tell your boyfriend he did a good job, Hatsume said before walking away to continue her work. Sure, wait, what? You called, catching a few stares from other students. Hatsume, no! No, he's not my boyfriend. You smiled as you began to nervously laugh. Hatsume whipped her head to you. He's not? She asked before mumbling a huh, and returning her focus back to what it originally was. You rushed through the halls, having a task from Power Loader to get some papers about costume changes to the front office. You walked past the crowd of students trying to get to the next class. You bumped into someone along the way. You apologized and kept going. Listener? The boy asked while you were walking away. You stopped and turned around. Elbows Sero, he corrected you. Right. Sero. Do you need anything? You asked, looking up at the clock. The paper said a due date, so you had plenty of time to get there, but the earlier the better was your motto. Of course, this is different on the weekends. Sleep was very important to you. Hold up, I want to introduce you to my friends. Sero smiled. This is Bakugo, Denki, Kirishima, and that's Mina, Sero said, pointing towards a girl with pink hair. She was really pretty. Hey there, she said, giving you a wide smile. Her voice really suited her. Hey, you said, giving a slight smile. Hey, it's like we're twins. With the horns, I mean, Mina said, pointing to her horns, then at yours. You inherited the horns from your mother's side of the family, who had goat-like abilities. Lucky you only got the ability of being that one person everyone stares at in the store. Woohoo! Not that you cared, let them stare. Thinking back, you don't really remember when you started not to care about all the stares you got and started to use them to your advantage. Not really an advantage, but it really helps becoming familiar with everyone if you needed something. Plus, you would be the last person that teachers would think about if someone were to have done something bad. You hummed. Ha! No way, look at us! We could be sisters that got separated at birth or something like that. Ooh, that should be a movie. I would totally go see that. You started. If they ever make it, let's do it. If not, we'll just have to make it ourselves, Mina added, sticking her head up in a witty way towards the end of her statement. Period, you laugh. Remind me again to why I said that. Your nose twitched. Period indeed, my new best friend. The pink tuna girl said, wrapping her arm around your shoulder. So, are you actually Sero's partner? A boy with yellow hair with a black lightning bolt on the right side of his hair and golden eyes to match asked. You looked at him with a confused face. Does everyone think we're dating? You smiled. Although everyone thinks that, no, we aren't. You felt the girl next to you relax a bit. You looked at her. Did she like Sero in a romantic way? Probably. You looked at Sero. Makes sense. He does have a likable personality. So you're single. The boy Sero earlier introduced you to as Denki. Yes? You respond, slightly raising an eyebrow as you gave a smile. Oh, alright, cool. Then maybe we could go out and get something to eat? Denki asked. Your eyes widened a bit. Me? Really? You asked, unsure if you really meant what he said or not. Yeah, unless you don't want to, which would totally be okay if you didn't, Denki exclaimed, trying not to make you uncomfortable. I mean, sure. You smiled. Denki looked up with his eyes sparkling as the other stared at you with pure confusion. A human actually agreed to go on a date with Denki? They all questioned. As friends, of course. We could get to know each other more, he smiled. He looked around at Sero and his friends as they all stiffened their laughter after Denki getting rejected from a date. Yeah, sure, why not? Hey there, I'm Kirishima, Kirishima said. Red hair, slightly tanned skin, red eyes, and a very lovable face. He smiled. Nice to meet you, Kirishima. Kirishima said, This is Bakugo, though he doesn't really like people that much. Kirishima said, pointing to a blonde-haired boy with hair that looked like an explosion. He wore a very grumpy face. He looks familiar, he thought, looking at Bakugo. What are you staring at, you damn extra? He yelled. Taken aback, you smiled before explaining yourself. Sorry, you said, putting your hands up in defense. It's just that you looked familiar. Bakugo stood, face dumbfounded. What the hell do you mean? Don't remember me? He yelled. You closed one of your eyes due to how loud he yelled. The whole group looked towards Sero, who was laughing. Yeah, they tend to forget people's faces. You want to know how long it took for them to actually know my name? Sero chuckled, wiping a tear from his eye, from laughing too hard. Blinking twice, he looked towards Bakugo again. That's not true. See, I remember him. Anger issues is right in front of me. Don't call me anger issues, the blonde yelled, getting held back by the red-haired kid named Kirishima. With the pink-skinned girl, arms still around your shoulders, she looked towards you. Oh wow, she's pretty up close, you thought, arching your brow in confusion while nervously smiling. Well, my bestie would never forget my name, isn't that right? Tell him, bestie, she said, poking your side. Of course not, bestie, because you're my bestie, you said soon after looking to the side in shame for not remembering their names. Mina smiled. See? They remember my name. Yeah, right, Mina. They just called you bestie. Well, that is my name, Mina said, placing a hand into her chest, moving her head to the right, looking offended. Anyways, you started, prying yourself from Mina. I have to get going. You smiled. Apologizing, you left Sero and his friends. Exams, huh? I don't know what it'll all be about. Sorry, said to Sero, since he had asked you about them. Dang it. I was hoping that you'd know since you're in the support course, the boy said as he slumped in his chair. You patted his arm, smiling as he went back to eating your food. It was your lunch break, and you were pretty hungry. What could you say? Food is important to you. Dang! You heard Mina say from across the table as she laid her head onto it. Please don't do that, you quickly said, lifting her head up. Who knows if they clean these tables or not, you added, giving her a slight smile before going back to eat. There today, too? At least we get the writing part done and over with, Mina said, stretching her arms up towards the ceiling of the cafeteria. All thanks to Yaoyorozu, Denki added, giving a bright smile. Because of her, I was able to at least finish the questions. Just need to pass this part, and off to summer camp we go, Mina and Denki celebrated. I'm gonna feel so bad for them if they fail, you said to no one in particular. I know, right? Sero said out of the blue. You turned to face him before nodding her head in agreement. You think they'll pass? Pretty confident that I will, Sero said, showing off his elbow. You stayed quiet for a bit before you went back to eating. Hey, Sero said, offended, leaving you to laugh at his reaction. We were so close, Mina whined, putting her weight onto you. So I'm assuming you didn't pass. No, Sero said, putting his weight to your other side. You didn't either? You asked, struggling to stand. You heard Sero sigh, as a sign to tell you that he didn't. Ouch, you said, taking a step forward so that you would be free from their weight. You watched them fall, but quickly gained their ground, both pouting to you. To which you simply shrugged your shoulders as you smiled at the two. Not long after, Denki placed his arm around you, putting his weight onto your side. We were so close, he whined as he slowly leaned forward. You tried to hoist him up, but to no avail. Denki fell to the ground, pulling you with him. You groaned, trying to break free as both Sero and Mina giggled at your state. Shut up, you said to the two as you finally got up. Well, anyways, our class is going to the mall. We wanted to know if you wanted to join us. Please, Mina yelled, getting close to your face as she pressed both hands together in hopes that you would agree. You raised a brow. Clearly, you didn't want to go. Mina took note and whipped out her special move, the puppy eyes. But that move never fails, Mina shouted. Please, I am basically immune to that move. Have you not met Hatsume? You said, smirking. No way they were going to convince you. That's right, you weren't about to go into public. People are scary. You do not like them. Your social anxiety could never. Yet you knew that literally didn't give a damn about what you were. But you could feel the eyes on you, even if they weren't really. Sero, they can never say no to you. Help me, Mina said, looking towards Sero. I don't know, Mina. They don't look like they don't want to. I mean, I don't want to make them do something they clearly don't want to do, Sero said. Thank the clouds above. We're on your side today. Listen to Sero, he whispered, loud enough for the whole world to hear. But shopping! Bonding time! Bestie? Clothes! Well, now you're sounding like a child, you added in the same tone as Mina's. Fine, 1 day, Mina said, pointing at you. She stared deep into your soul. Oh my. You responded knowing full well that oh so special 1 day will most likely never show. How is it that you're so popular around the kids at our school, yet you don't want to go out? Mina said when she got over her little tantrum. Adults are scary. People my age, not so much, you said, looking at her. A tired smile drawing your face quickly dropped as you faced forward. Not like I want to be quote-unquote popular, you said, doing air quotes with your fingers. How do you not know? Literally everybody knows. You, Mina exclaimed as you waved to one of your peers. I don't know, people talk to me and I listen. It's like I'm all buddy-buddy with people like you. You moved your head to look at Mina, who was beside you. You know, I will never understand the way you are. Happy 1 day, tired the next, Mina said, crossing her arms. That's just how I am. You'll get used to it. You went. Plus, I've been told that I get pretty grumpy when I'm tired, you added. So you're tired? You blinked. No, I'm so awake I'm bouncing off the walls right now, you sarcastically said as Mina scoffed. You chuckled. Yes, I'm tired, Mina. You wouldn't be so bubbly if you got no sleep the night before, right? And what were you doing staying up all night? Mina asked, curiosity written clearly in her face. I don't know, Mina. What was I doing up all night? You can't just tell her you got caught up watching those YouTube videos all night. A secret not even your closest friend knows, other than Shinzo. The two of you share that secret since both of you watch them together sometimes. The perks of having him as your neighbor. You can't just do that to me, Mina yelled as you approached your classroom. I can, and I just did. You smiled, waving her goodbye as you entered the class, leaving Mina standing there. Sero! Mina yelled, storming into her class. Listener was being mean to me. They won't tell me what they were doing staying up late last night, Mina yelled. Who's in? The class asked. Sarah's lover, Mina teased, causing the boy to blush. They are not. They don't see me as that. We're just friends, Sero stated. Okay, tell that's all the flirting you two do, Mina said, crossing her arms. But we were platonically flirting. Uh-huh. It's true. What about the fact that you didn't deny that you like them? Mina said as Sero's eyes widened in realization. I don't, Mina, Sero yelled. Denki decided to join the fun and place his arm around Mina. Yeah, right, buddy, I know when someone is flirting with someone. I just so happen to be the king of flirting, Denki said, posing. Say that to every girl who has rejected you, Sarah and Mina both say as Denki crouches to the floor. Ouch! You didn't have to be so mean about it, Denki yelled, holding both hands to his heart as he cried. Just admit you like them, Mina said happily. You know, as their bestie, I could be your wingman, Mina said, pushing up her invisible glasses. Thanks, but even if I did, which I don't, then I'd want to do it by myself. You talked with Hatsume about a new design you both wanted to work on together. Okay, yeah, but then it would be too bulky, you added, pointing at the disc. Who cares? If it gets the job done, they can manage, Hatsume yelled. You want them to hold a literal disc around them wherever they go? You asked. Sure, Hatsume replied. May, do you not know how heavy that would be? You grabbed a pencil. What if we made it smaller, to where it's something that's both efficient and easy to carry around? You said, sketching out a new design. Like a glove, Hatsume exclaimed. Bingo, you replied, winking. You felt a tingle in your nose. You sniffed before sneezing. Bless you, Hatsume called, getting to work. Yeah, thank you, you said, erasing the mistake because of the sneeze. Summer break. It would have been a happy moment for you, of course, if it weren't for the fact that you had to come along with the hero course. Stupid quirk, you had thought to yourself as you grumpily sat in your chair, eyes closed, arms crossed. We're sorry we had to drag you along with this mess, but it was for the students' safety. You know, because of your quirk, you'd be able to tell something was wrong. Aizawa started, noticing your upset mood. You sighed. It's okay. I understand that you want to keep the students safe, but couldn't you have brought, like, a radar or something? You almost asked in a whiny tone. Yes, we could have. This can also improve your quirk. You know, so it's a plus for both sides, Aizawa said. You nod your head. A small smile plastered on your face as you turn your head to be greeted by Mina's face. See, you were put on the aisle because of your late arrival. The whole thing of you coming along was a last-minute decision. You yelled, jumping in your chair as Mina laughed, soon getting scolded by Ida and the man who recommended you to come along. Ha! You should have seen your face! Mina laughed, holding onto her stomach. Mina, go back to your seat. The bus is about to leave, Aizawa said as his red eyes glowed. Oh, come on. It was funny, though, Mina narrowly said, bowing down before quickly running back to her seat. Are they always this rowdy? You asked Aizawa, turning back to face him. Sadly, Aizawa responded by rubbing his eyes. Ouch, he said, looking back at the class. So this can either be the best or worst summer break. They look fun, at least. Plus, it's not like I don't know anyone here, so it'll not be as bad. Yet, they're here to train their quirks, not have fun. You sighed, once more as you turned back to face the front of the bus. You knew this would be a long ride, so you came prepared. You brought your headphones. Whoa! Look at the view from here! Mina yelled as she leaned onto the railing. The class decided to take a break before continuing the rest of the trip there. You had to admit, the view was pretty. The mixture of green almost made your eyes hurt, just as if it were painted or just a screen projecting the trees. Listener, Aizawa called. Come here for a sec. You looked back over to your teacher, then back to the view, taking a mental picture because you already knew what was about to happen next. You already had a slight pang in your head, being near the railing. Yeah? You asked, once reaching your supervisor. Use the right manners. It's yes, sir. The taller male corrected you. Right, I'm sorry, sir. You corrected yourself, bowing down while doing so. Anyways, he continued. This is Midoriya and Pixie Bob, both pro heroes and part of the Wild Wild Pussycats. He looked over at the two. Midoriya was on the right. She wore a red and white themed outfit and skirt to match with her burgundy red-like hair, with kitten headphones which you assumed were for communication. Pixie Bob, who was right next to her, wore the same thing as Midoriya but was in cyan. She had your typical blonde girl face, but you weren't one to judge too quickly. Once you had introduced yourself to the two, Midoriya told you to get in the car where her nephew would be, while she and Pixie Bob took care of Class 1A. Wonder if Class B had to go through this too. You opened the car door. Great. A child. Hey, you greeted, sitting next to him. Why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be with the heroes? He asked, saying the word hero with pure hatred. You grinned. What kind of child are you to not like heroes at your age? No. Actually, I'm not here to be a hero. More like an assistant babysitter? You responded. The boy sat there confused. A babysitter? Why would they need an assistant babysitter? Don't know. I was forced to come here. I'd rather do nothing and be bored all day. Well, that must suck to be forced to come along with those stupid heroes. Right? But believe it or not, they're not stupid. I mean, sure they can be clueless, but they are smarter than most. Creatively, I mean. How? You'd be surprised at the amount of things they can come up with. It's quite weird. Makes sense because heroes are weird. The boy crossed his arms. Yeah, they kinda are. He smiled, raising an eyebrow. So, what's up with you and heroes? You asked, ignoring the rumble on the ground and screams. The boy tensed up. I shouldn't have asked. Sorry about that. He smiled, moving on. Who would have known this kid could be so interesting to talk to? Suddenly, the car doors opened. Sorry about the long wait. Did you two get along? Mandalay asked as you moved over to let Pixie Bob take her seat. Yes, ma'am. Your nephew is one funny kid, he responded, letting out a puff of air. That's good. I'm glad, she replied, smiling. A test of courage. Going along a path as people try their best to scare the shit out of you. Fun, right? Of course, you would have a partner. Maybe a group of people to go along with. But going alone? That's a nightmare. He stared at Midoriya as his life left his body, realizing that he would have to go through the test alone. I mean, you weren't participating mainly because 1, you didn't want to, and 2, you just didn't want to. You tapped your foot on the ground, debating if you should sacrifice yourself to go with Midoriya. You stopped tapping your foot and rolled onto the heel of your foot, sighing as you did so before you began to walk over to the trembling boy. Placing your hand onto his right shoulder, he slowly turned to face you. Listener? He nervously says. You give him a weak smile before answering. I noticed how you didn't have a partner, so if you want me to, do you want me to go with you? Midoriya smiled. Really? He meekly said, tears filling up in the corners of his eyes. You smiled, starting to regret your decision, but hey, if you were in his shoes, he would offer to go with you? Or would you simply disappear before I got to your turn? The boy sighs a breath of relief. Thank God. I don't know what I would have done if I had to go alone, he says, placing his hand to his chest. Don't worry, we can just be scared together. He smiled, Midoriya's expression falling a bit, noticing your trembling hands. As the time went by, you and Midoriya chatted, blocking out the yells and screams from the other groups going. You think they'll allow us to just run through it? You nervously asked, wiping your sweaty hands on your shirt before holding your stomach filled with nerves. Probably not, Midoriya honestly replied. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try, you said, trying to calm your nerves. Moving your head in his direction, you smiled, but your smile later dropped. Something doesn't feel right, you think to yourself as your eyes widen. Something's off, you say out loud. Or hog Midoriya's attention. What do you mean? He asked, a bit of concern in his voice as he spoke. He looked around. Mandalay! Pixie Bob! He yelled, starting to run towards the direction. There's... You cut your own self due to the purple aura now surrounding you. Huh? What the... You yelled, now getting picked up in the air as you start flying away towards everyone else. They all stare in horror as you crash into Pixie Bob. Listener! Pixie Bob! Midoriya yells, taking a step forwards. He soon stops, looking over to Mandalay, who looks worried. I knew I should have just stayed home, you tell yourself before a metal pillar hits your head. You feel the warm blood trickle down your forehead, furrowing your brows and eyebrows in pain. You're still processing what was happening. Wait, where's Pixie Bob? You thought, looking around with your eyes. You find her not that far away from you, but she seemed to be knocked unconscious. What should I do? You thought. What can I do? Squeezing your eyes shut tighter, you tried to think. You tried and tried, but you couldn't. Your head hurt too much. The pain and pressure from the pillar that was being pressed into your head as you sunk deeper into the ground. I'm losing my consciousness. Fighting to keep your eyes open as someone next to you started to talk. If I had something sooner. Her eyes drooped a bit. If I had reacted quicker. Tears were filling your eyes, causing your vision to blur. This wouldn't have happened. Finally giving in, your eyes forcefully shut. You slowly opened your eyes. Huh? You say, looking at your middle school. Sakura petals were slowly falling around you as you realized where you were. Was this a memory? You looked to the left. A person was standing next to you, but their face was scribbled out. Who are you? You thought about looking at the student. They looked over at you. A white smiley face was marked onto the black scribbles. They were saying something, but what was it? You couldn't tell. What are you saying? You asked it. They spoke again, but it was the same as before. You couldn't understand what they were saying. Suddenly, the background started to fade. You looked around as the school faded, the sakura petals glitching away. It was just you and him now. The kid took a step back, before we started to run. Where are you going? He yelled, starting to chase them, the background now changing white. He turned around, now facing you, suddenly stopping. When you finally reach him, you catch your breath, placing your hands onto your knees, bending down. Listener! They said. You looked up, a familiar trait catching your eyes. Wake up! You squinted your eyes as you opened them. What was that dream, you think? Finally opening your eyes all the way, you sat up. That kid, though. They definitely had his elbows. Wait, am I in a hospital? You thought, looking around. Oh, you're up, someone said. You looked over to the door, startled. Oh, Hatsume, you made me so worried, she suddenly yelled, running up to hug you. I thought you'd never wake up, she sobbed. Wait, are you crying? You yelled. You were never good at comforting people. You froze. Why are you crying? You asked, laughing a bit. Hatsume pouted, sitting up. She sniffed before speaking. 'Cause you looked like you were in pain while you were in a coma. Coma? How long was I out? You yelled. Just a day, Hatsume replied, like it was nothing. Well, it could have been worse. Oh. You relaxed a bit. Lifting your hand up to your forehead, you flinched. Ouch, you mumbled. A bandage that was tightly wrapped around your head. Hatsume then got up and started heading towards the door. I'll go get the doctors. I'll be back, the pink-haired girl said before walking out, closing the door behind her. You sat in silence, staring at the door. You shifted your vision, looking out the window. You stared at the moving clouds, the sky a beautiful shade of blue. What was with that dream? You thought, recalling the boy. And why don't I remember you? Your eyebrows furrow. The door slid open. Looking over, you saw the doctor and a nurse walking up to you. Looks like everything looks okay, the doctor spoke. Just be careful with quick movements for the rest of the day, they said, nodding their head, and you nodded back in response. They packed up their things and started heading out. I'll check up on you later, they said, closing the door behind them. Hatsume's head popped in. Everything okay? She asked, stepping in. Yeah, just said to be careful with quick movements, you replied, looking over to the sky again. Well, I got something for you, Hatsume said, lifting up a bag. It's from that one boy that you're friends with. You mean Sero? Yeah. You grabbed the bag from Hatsume's hand and opened it. He brought your favorite food. A small smile on your face as you pulled it out. You remember telling him about your favorite food once, but it was a while back. Who would have thought he would have remembered? A card was also in the bag. What's this? You muttered, placing it out. A basic get well soon note. He's so simple, you thought. What a nice guy. He knows your favorite food? Hatsume asked, plopping down at the end of the bed you were given. I told him once. It was a really brief subject. I'm surprised he even remembered. You know, Mom and Dad were really worried about you, Hatsume said. She's kinda acting more soft. You weren't used to it. Were they? You said straight and eat the food. Mm-hmm. Heh. Nice to know. He smiled. Huh? Deku, you were here too? He yelled, staring at the boy. He had bandages wrapped around his arms and head. He apologized for the random commotion to other patients before looking back to Midoriya. What happened to you? He whispered, yelled. Oh, you see, I realized that Koda was still missing, so I went on a hunt for him. He was in danger, so I had to save him. Midoriya muttered, Oh, is Koda okay? Yes, worriedly. Yeah, he is. He smiled. Oh, thank goodness. He sighed. Anyways, where are you going at this time of day? He asked Midoriya, looking over his shoulder to see Yaoyorozu, not that far away from him. You furrowed your eyebrows. Oh, that. Well, you see... Midoriya, are you going to do something you shouldn't? He suddenly asked as the boy flinched. No, of course not, he stuttered. Midoriya, you said, raising your voice a tad. He dropped his arms down to his sides. Looking up at you, his facial expression changed. I'm gonna save Kacchan. I know this isn't right, and I should just let the heroes do their thing, but it wouldn't feel right. This weight that I carry on my shoulders because I couldn't save him. If only I were a hair faster, we wouldn't be in this mess, and Kacchan wouldn't have been kidnapped. I know you may try to stop me, but I've made up my mind. You can come with us if you'd like, but Yaoyorozu, Kirishima, Todoroki, and I are willing to risk it to save him. Do what you'd like with this information because we will save him, Midoriya says with a look of fear and guilt in his eyes. You stared at him for a bit as you let him go. Okay, you say, taking a step back. I may regret the decision later, and I wish I could help you, but I'm not able to assist in any way. My quirk isn't the kind that would be able to help you, but just be careful, okay? If the situation gets out of hand, then leave, and leave the rest to the pros. For the little I have known about you, you like to act before thinking, so please, just think before you act, you said. Smiling a bit, you felt the regret piling up, but you pushed that feeling down. Midoriya, Yaoyorozu said, from behind him. We should get going now, she said, smiling a bit. If you'll excuse us, listener. Yaoyorozu smiled before walking off, Midoriya nodding his head. We will save him, I promise, he said before walking off, following Yaoyorozu. You swallowed your spit, looking at the two soon-to-be heroes walking out the hospital doors. Good luck, you guys. You'll really need all the luck you can get, you thought, looking up at the moon. Now that I think about it, I never checked my phone. You whipped out your phone, seeing 21 unread messages from your friends, 4 missed calls from your parents, 6 missed from Hatsume, and 15 from Sero. You stared at your screen. Huh, you stated, opening your messages app. You scrolled through your contacts. Are you okay? Hey, pick up. Listener, dude, why aren't you picking up? Are you okay? Listener! The basic messages you got from different people. Hesitating, you called your mom. Ring. Ring. Hello, listener? Hey, Mom. You chuckled, scratching the back of your head. Honey, they're up. Oh, thank God. Are you okay? What happened? We heard what happened from the school. Are you okay? Do you need us to pick you up from the hospital? I can get your father to warm up the car. No, I'm okay. I can walk home myself. No need to stress. I'm okay. The doctors just said I had a slight concussion, so nothing too big to worry about. A concussion? And you want to walk home yourself? Are you sure? Aren't you dizzy? Does your head hurt? Maybe we should go pick you up. Honey, Mom, I'm fine. Nothing hurts. You laughed. I just have a slight headache, but that's from my quirk. I can walk home fine. But my baby got hurt. Mom, I'll be fine. I'll see you in a bit. And no, that does not mean to pick me up. I don't want to bother or stress you guys more than I already have. Okay. Love you. Hurry back, will ya? Love you too. I will. They're always stressing about something, you said, smiling while looking down at your phone screen. I should start heading home, you state, heading out the doors. Sorry, you can head in, the ginger says, opening the door for you. Oh, thank you, you smile while walking out. Wait, listener? They say. You look over, raising an eyebrow. Yeah? The person jumps over to you in a flash, picking you up and hug. Whoa! You yell, holding onto their shoulders as they spun you around. They put you down, still holding onto you, engulfing you into a bear hug. You say, starting to pat their shoulders. You're okay! You didn't respond to my calls or texts, I was freaking out! They said, pushing you away from them, but still holding onto your shoulders. Do you have any idea how freaked out I was knowing you were out there, probably dead and I couldn't do anything? You blinked. Sero? You asked, smiling a bit. You froze. Yeah? Calm down. You smiled, holding onto his forearms. Right, sorry. He sighed, relaxing a bit. He was looking down to the ground. Maybe he was regretting his decisions. You smiled, pulling him into a hug. I'm alright, you say, and tighten your grip a tad. Sero carefully hugged you back, placing his left hand on the back of your head and the other wrapped around your waist, pulling you closer to him. He moved his head to your shoulders, closing his eyes as he fought back the urge to kiss your forehead. I want you to be mine, he thought, nuzzling his head to yours. So badly it hurts. He dropped a hand on your head down to your waist so both hands were now wrapped around you. You leaned side to side, trying to lighten the mood. You felt him smirking, making you want to smile too. You moved your head a bit, so Sero lifted his head from your shoulder, meeting your eyes. You were smiling, a soft, warm smile, telling him that everything was okay, that you were okay. A warm feeling spreads across Sero's chest, looking into your eyes. You lifted your hand and placed it on Sero's cheek, noticing his blush a bit. You were too, and the thought made Sero's cheeks redder. He glanced down at your lips. He wanted to kiss you. He wanted to taste you and be intoxicated with it. And the thought was killing him. You bit your bottom lip. You wanted to kiss him too. Not knowing how badly he wanted to as well, you were holding yourself back. Slowly dropping your hand down from his cheek, you looked down and let out an airy chuckle. You haven't done anything special with him yet. You were a blushing mess, and even if it wasn't noticeable to you, Sero was blushing just as hard. You looked back at him, Sero's eyes widening a bit. His eyes furrowed as he watched you slowly give up. Quickly, he reversed the roles, hitting his hand on your cheek, foreheads touching. Your lips were just a movement away from each other. Your breath quickened. Your eyes widened as you bounced back and forth from each eye, debating on which to look at. Don't give up on me, he said, staring deep into your eyes. You swallowed your spit, nodding lightly after. Your hands were on his shoulders, gripping tightly at his shirt. You leaned in slightly, closing your eyes, lips brushed against his. A little action and filling your stomach with butterflies. Sero was about to lean in. He was so happy, yet so nervous. What if he did something wrong? His eyebrows furrowed, further closing his eyes. Listener? Someone said. Your eyes shot up, pushing Sero away from you. You looked over. Hatsume! He yelled, smiling, trying to cover your reddening face. Oh, was I interrupting something? She asked, turning her head to the side in confusion. Sorry about that. Mom got worried. You were talking a while, so she sent me to get you. Hatsume said, walking up to you. So let's go before she tears apart the house. She grabbed your wrist, pulling you from Sero. You said, looking back at Sero. See you later, her voice cracked. Your eyes widened as you held your throat, still being pulled away by Hatsume. You cursed at yourself. Free to go, stupid bitch. Why of all times did your voice need to crack now? Mentally whined. Sero watched you get pulled away. Once you finally let his field of view, he squatted down. We almost kissed, you thought. We almost kissed and that gumball ruined it. Ugh! You flopped onto your bed once you got home. Can't decide if I'm mad at Hatsume or if I hate her right now. You thought, slamming your fist and legs on your bed. I'm gonna shoot myself, you muttered, sitting up. You heard footsteps running to your room. Lying in the doorway, you found Hatsume's head poke in. Hey, listener, you might want to see this, she quickly said before running back to the living room. Okay, you say, getting up. You wobbled your way to the living room, finding your parents and Hatsume staring at the TV. You follow their gaze, seeing All Might on the screen. Normally, you would have seen some news crew talking about one of All Might's fights, standing in his signature pose, both hands on his hips, as he said his well-known catchphrase. "Fear not. Why, you may ask? 'Cause I am here." But never would you have guessed that there on your screen would be All Might, his face half deflated, your eyes widened in shock. You were frozen due to what was happening. He was fighting someone. The area was destroyed, and there stood a man floating with a disturbed arm. You know, life is filled with surprises. With those surprises reaching the goal you deserve at the end comes with a lot of mistakes, but those mistakes lead you to who you are today. Sometimes you mess up and you fix yourself. Other times, people help you along the way. It's those people who stick around through your mistakes that are considered loyal. Ever since All Might made an appearance, the acts of villainy has decreased each year. He's a symbol of peace, even if we don't realize a symbol of peace may have made many mistakes. But it's thanks to his fans, who stuck around all that time, that has allowed him to continue no matter the circumstances. No matter where we are, or where he is, citizens are always right there, cheering him on. You can do it, All Might! It's sad how fast things come and go, and as such, people come and go. Now it's your turn, All Might says, pointing towards the camera. It's unclear who he was talking about. Even then, that was the last of our symbol of peace. You finished reading an article about All Might's final fight. It was still surreal that All Might has retired. You walked alongside Hatsume and made your way towards the school. After the fight had happened, UA had decided to set up dorms to keep their students safer due to the past conflicts with the hero course. Listening to your playlist with both earbuds in, you inhaled, relaxing a bit, turning up the volume to your music a bit. You were a bit excited to see how the dorms would be decorated. Once reaching the school, you were directed to where the dorms were located. Whoa, they're huge, you mumbled, taking an earbud out. You stood in front of the dorms. 1H was printed as well as other dorms houses with their respective class. You got up with your class, noticing you and Hatsume were one of the last ones to get there. Power Reloader then began to explain how things would start to work. He led the class around the dorm and assigned us to our dorms. Your stuff should already be in your assigned dorms. Do tell me if something isn't right, though. Other than that, you guys can go ahead and start unpacking your things, he said, walking away. Okay, so I'm on floor 5, you thought, walking into the elevator. Listener, it's such a shame we are on the same floor, Hatsume whined. You turned your head, finding out that she was standing right next to you. There were other students chatting and talking about what floors they were on. I know, but hey, I'm on the floor above yours. Not too bad, you say, trying to cheer the girl up. She sighed, nodding her head. Yeah, I guess you're right, she said, to herself looking away. The elevator doors chimed, open as some students got out. This is going to be a long elevator ride, he thought, staring at the doors slowly closed. You finally had your things unpacked. You walked down to the common room to relax a bit and chatted a bit with your classmates about their dorms. Yeah, but mine isn't that special, you smiled, scratching the back of your head. What do you mean? You're probably the most popular person in our grade. There has to be at least something special about your room, a student exclaimed. I'm not popular, he retorted. And I'm not in the support course, the same student replied, which got a couple of giggles from other students. But it's true, one of your classmates said, wrapping their arm around your shoulders and leaning on you. A lot of people know you. 'Cause I look approachable, you say, looking up at them. It's because of my horns, isn't it? You yell, holding on to them. Nah, the horns make you look cute. And friendly. Basically, yeah, approachable, your classmates say. You blush at the comments hiding your face. Aw, listeners flustered, they teased. You felt the buzz from your phone. Looking down, you opened the message. Elbows. You busy right now? I forgot I had his number, you thought, looking at the contact name. You smiled, about to type back when someone spoke up. Ooh, who's Elbows? What kind of a freaking nickname is that? The boy whose arm was still wrapped around your shoulders cackled. Shut up, you say, getting up. It's none of your business. You stuck your tongue out then before walking outside. Yeah, why do you ask? You type, opening the doors, and your classmates giggle behind you. You look up to see Sero standing there. You raise an eyebrow. A quick flashback of what happened the last time you had seen him popped into your head. You slightly blush. Why are you here? You ask. Once you were close enough to him. Because I wanted to see you, Sero said while giving you a crooked grin. Gosh, she's so cute, you thought, smiling with him. You see Sero staring at you, and you decide to stare back. What? You smile, getting nervous. You think I'm cute? He nervously says while rubbing the back of his neck. You stare at him while blinking. What? You say, your voice becoming a bit higher pitched. Just a while ago, you said, gosh, she's so cute, Sero explained. Your eyes widened. You're joking, right? You blush harder. Sero continued to stare at you while a smile still plastered on his face. Mentally screaming at yourself, you start to repeatedly apologize while waving your hands around looking for an excuse. You felt yourself wanting to cry at that moment. You were so embarrassed. Listener, it's okay, Sero laughed. I think you're cute too, he says, a bright smile now on his face. With your head dropping down, you slowly look up at him. Your face was as red as a tomato, and tears were daring to fall out of your eyes. Sero burst out into laughter, holding onto his stomach. You wiped your eyes and sniffed. Oh, shut up, you quietly said while starting to smile because of Sero's laugh. I'm sorry, he said, wiping a tear away from his eye. I don't mean to be rude. That was just really cute. I mean, funny. Sero smiles. You notice Sero's little stutter. Were you gonna say I was cute right then and there? You teased as Sero's blushed, noticing you had caught onto his neck. No? He laughed off. You totally were, you joked. Anyways, Sero said, trying to change the subject. Anyways, he repeated. About why I called you out here, Sero says, striving to become more serious. Yeah, I was wondering about that. You smiled, those nervous butterflies filling your stomach, wondering what the reason Sero wanted to talk to you about was. So, about the last time we saw each other, and what happened outside of the hospital? What did that mean to you? Sero said, staring into your eyes. Your eyes widened. Being honest, you knew that Sero wanted to talk about this. But so soon? Well, you start looking to the side. Suddenly, Sero grabs your hands, looked at his hands, then gently squeezing them. You start looking back up to look into Sero's eyes. You exhaled through your nose. I'm confused, really, you say, smiling, furrowing your eyebrows a bit. I like you, listener, Sero said, tightening his grip on your hands a bit. You swallowed. I like you too, Sero, you said in return, giving his hands another squeeze. Both now smiling, you looked down again. Please, I swear if this is a dream, I'm gonna beat someone up, you think to yourself, making sure you're the only one to think of it and not say it out loud. You formed your lips into a tight line. Listener, Sero says in a gentle tone, looking back up, your eyes widened, feeling his lips on yours. Even though it was a quick peck, there were fireworks going crazy in your head. With your eyes so wide, possibly even wider, you let out an airy chuckle, using your right hand to let go of Sero's hand, reaching out to caress his cheek. You gave him a warm smile, leaning in to kiss him once again. I wasn't prepared the first time, you thought, once you opened your eyes again. I'm sorry, I should have asked first, Sero says, and I said it out loud. No, you're completely fine. No need to apologize. He smiled. You noticed Sero's eyes furrowed up a bit. Letting both of your hands go, he wrapped them around you, giving you a hug. You smiled, leaning your head onto his shoulder as you both swayed along in sync. So, Sero said, letting it go. Oi! What are you guys doing out here past curfew? Hanta yelled, causing both of you and Sero to jump. Right, sorry, sir. You quickly say goodbye to Sero before running back inside. Yes. What a way to start a new day after kissing your crush. I was asking him out before a teacher stopped dear old, beautiful, may I add, me. My skin was dry as hell by shooting the tape out of my elbows. It burned so badly. Aren't we supposed to be practicing ultimate moves? Of course, this is helping, Sero. Helping you have dry skin, of course. Best ultimate move out there. I want to be practicing like my classmates. I want to be swinging in the air like his face was shooting webs out of his wrists. That's what they got him out of, right? Anyways, I'd rather be spending time with them rather than being here shooting tape out of my elbows. What a nightmare. Wonder how far I can shoot my tape. I'll try that later. Maybe on Mineta if the time ever comes. Not that I don't like him, we're just friends. Just sometimes the dude can't shut up. I want to see Listener again and ask him out. My eye twitched. I want to see my Listener again. I thought to myself, whining. I heard an excuse to go see them, but by going to the studio to get a costume change or an item of support. But why would I go there? To flirt with Listener, sure, but they wouldn't allow that. They'd probably kick me out. No, Listener wouldn't kick me out, so they can continue to work. What a bummer. My eyebrows furrowed, closing my eyes to think. But in all seriousness, I need a break. Smiling, I felt a tear forming in my eye. I could say I need to go to the bathroom and visit them. Sure, that'll work. Maybe this was a bad idea. They were gonna ask why I needed change. I don't know what I want to change to my costume. I stood outside of the studio, debating whether or not to open the doors. There was this nervous feeling in my stomach. Yo, Sero! Denki called from behind me. You want something changed too? He asked me, running up to me. I don't know anymore, man, I replied, looking back at the doors. Well, then you can just accompany me. Maybe we'll see Listener in the workshop's uniform. Denki said excitedly while blushing. Dude, no. My face dropped while looking back at him. Right, sorry, forgot they were yours. Denki said, What? I never said. I began before Denki opened the doors. That. I looked at Denki while looking around and all. He wasn't wrong. The place looked like a workshop of one of his movies. Bummer. Denki said, placing his hands on hips. No, Listener, he said sadly. Really? I felt my expression turn into a sad one. Not that it was noticeable to others. What can I help you with? The Howler said, looking over to Denki and me. Denki began to explain what kind of gadget he wanted to power loader. While that was sad, I looked around. I wonder what Listener's up to. I thought, looking back at Hatsume and Denki, cringily asking Hatsume out. I was about to walk out the doors before the door slammed open, revealing what you may think a beautiful Listener to a more rather stressed one. Okay, they yelled, ignoring me and pushing right past me to Hatsume. Not even a hello? Rude. I found it, they yelled and slammed a packet of papers onto a work desk. Power Loader walked over to Listener, tilting his head to look at it, while having his fingers form like a check mark up to his chin. That's not it, he said, rather bluntly, still looking at the paper. Damn it, they yelled. They slouched on onto the floor. I've been searching for an hour. You said to look for... Yeah, that's some words that I personally don't know what they mean. I'm not dumb, I just have no clue how to pronounce it. They continued talking until Listener slouched down, beginning to fake cry. They laid on the floor. Is this what happens when the workshop has some free time? Speaking of which, why am I still here? I'm standing here for who knows how long. Oh, I thought we're gonna be mad at me. I'll ask them later. Maybe tonight? Ugh, the floor swallowed me alive! Listener yelled, waving their arms and legs around. They stopped and Hatsume kicked their side, telling them to stop whining like a baby. I went for them, looking at them holding their side. They got up too quickly for my eyes to process and stormed out the door, mumbling something I couldn't hear. Once they left, Hatsume and Power Loader looked over to me. I'm gonna go now, I quickly said, walking out the door. I'm gonna cry, you thought, smiling to yourself, making your way back to the library. You spent your morning in that dusty place known as the school's library. Library lady looked like that one from the Monsters, Inc. You know, the one who went, Mike Wazowski. You know? You laughed to yourself, opening the doors for what felt like 10,000 times. But in reality, it's only been 6 times. Miss, you'll never believe it. Been looking for the wrong file this whole time. You yelled, bursting through the doors. You were greeted with a shh. Sorry, you yelled, walking over to the shelves you've grown to despise within the last few hours. The files weren't organized. It looked like there had been a tornado of files everywhere on the floor. See, the thing is, after your 4th visit here, you kind of gave up trying to put the files in the same place. It kept messing you up. At least I know what I'm looking for, you smiled, rummaging through the files. Still not it. For the love of fiddlesticks! Okay, listener, you got this, you thought, staring at yourself in front of the mirror. You'd really gone through 4 different outfits trying to find the one fit for the occasion. Not that long ago, probably like a day or 2 ago, Sero randomly ran up to you. Hey, listener, he said once he caught up. Yeah? You said, waiting for him to respond. Taking a deep breath, he spoke up. Do you maybe want to go out on a date with me tomorrow? He said, feeling confident in himself. Oh, sure, where will we be going? You asked, curiosity taking the better of you. Oh, well, you'll see when we get there. He sheepishly smiled. Fun fact, you don't like surprises. Oh. You stayed silent for a bit. Could you give me a hint so I could dress properly? You asked, hoping to get something out of Sero that'll help you to figure out where he'd be taking you out. Dress however you like, he simply said, placing both hands on his hips. Gee, you're much help, you thought as your eye twitched. Well, then I'll see you later. Realizing the time, Sero quickly pecked her cheek before walking to his class. Your eyes widened in shock, pink dusting the top of your cheeks. Back to the present. You wore a simple look, nothing too snazzy out of your style. It was just the right amount. Okay, I think I like this one. You smiled, staring at yourself in the mirror, doing a quick 360 of yourself. You did a little pose. You were starting to feel confident on how you looked. The bitch never told me what time or where to meet him, you thought, taking out your phone to text him. He replied rather quickly, telling you just to meet him outside the dormitories and he'd meet you there. It was currently 11:45. I wonder how long he's been waiting, you thought. Making your way over to the front door, opening it, you found Sero waiting outside with 2 daisies which looked like he ripped from the ground. He was wearing a casual outfit. You smiled, trying to hide your laugh. Hey, he said, walking up to him. He stuck out his arm, handing you the 2 daisies. A light blush was on his face as he looked to the right. Trying to hide your smile, you took the flowers, thanking him before placing them behind your ear. How do I look? You asked, posing and puckering your lips. You look beautiful. Sero smiled. You blushed. Well, now you're just flattering me. You sheepishly looked to the side. But I mean it, Sergio. Now off on our date, listener. Walking down the road, to no place in particular, both you and Sero held ice cream cones in one hand and talked about anything on both your minds. For example, a situation that happened not long ago today. Today's nice, Sero said, looking up at the sky. Not as nice as you say, making the F-boy face. Shut up, Sero laughed, lightly punching your shoulder. Make me, you say, smirking, winked. Uh-oh, ice cream! You smiled, feeling Sero's hand brushing against yours. Looking up to meet him, his eyes darted away the second he met yours. You grinned, moving your pinky to touch his. His hand flinched. He slowly moved his hand to grab yours, interlocking your fingers together. You blushed, looking away, your smile widening, feeling Sero's hand tighten around yours for a second before relaxing his hand in your hold. Okay, we got this, Hanta. Just ask them out. No big deal. We all know the answer anyways, just gotta make it official. Sero thought, while glancing over in your direction. He watched you look at the scenery around you. You met Sero. Your eyes met Sero's, causing him to flinch. You smiled, giving his hand a light squeeze. He blushed. Why is this more difficult than it seems? He yelled to himself, mentally crying. He exhaled before looking straight ahead. You were almost to your dorm house. He was running out of time. Well, sure, he could have asked you another day, but he wanted it to be this day. He just couldn't stand the thought of not having a label to your relationship any longer. He wanted to hold you in front of others, hold hands, maybe even kiss you hellos by passing by the workshop. He wants to tell others, oh yeah, that's my partner, we're dating. While smirking, he pressed his lips together, eyes twitching. What's up? You asked. Sarah's eyes widened in realization. He snapped his head in your direction. Your eyes wide at the sudden movement. You grinned. You look kinda pissed right just now. What's on your mind? You asked. Your eyes no longer wide, but you were still grinning. Raised an eyebrow, Sarah looked to the side. He lowered his head down as he deeply exhaled. Well, listener, he said, holding both of your hands. You're just a few steps away from your dormitory. He looked up, burning 2 holes into your eyes. So we've confessed to each other, right? He asked, to which you nodded your head. And it's clear that we both like each other, he said. And again you nodded. He started getting giddy, knowing what was going to happen next. He started to smile. He squeezed Sarah's hands. Your hands were sweaty, but so were his. So, he said, starting to smile, just like how you were. You said, bending your lips to stop yourself from smiling too hard. Listener, I've known you for a while now. I don't really remember when I started liking you, but I realized it hit me harder than Midoriya could. Sarah started. You chuckled when Sarah talked about Midoriya. I remember when we first met. You bumped me into the halls, and I thought you were super cute, and I wanted to get to know you better. I was so happy when we met again. I thought you would have remembered me, but you treated me like a complete stranger. You laughed, remembering that moment. And next things I know, blink, and now I'm here, knowing that my crush likes me back, holding hands with them right now. This all really feels like a fever dream. Sarah let out an airy laugh as he looked at the ground. You let one of Sarah's hands go, moving it up to caress his cheek. Slowly you leaned in. You placed a small kiss on Sarah's lip, making it as passionate as you possibly could. I promise you this isn't some fever dream, you say, giggling at the sun-kissed boy in front of you. He nods his head, letting his head fall into the hand that was on his cheek. He held onto your wrist, placing a small kiss on it. Will you go out with me, Lion? Of course. You laid in bed, snuggling into your sheets, and covered your face as you silently screamed. The day you had finally been waiting for happened. You were dating Hanta Sero. He was your boyfriend. You have a boyfriend! Oh my god, my parents are gonna flip out, you thought to yourself, thinking of possible outcomes of what would happen when you introduced Sero to your family. Worst case scenario, Dad chokes Sero to death. Yeah, that won't happen. You tossed and turned all night. You mumbled. The cover was stitched on the floor and you were covered in sweat. Ooh, you. It was like you were watching a movie, only being able to watch, not talk, move, nothing. You were just some viewer, not even having thoughts. You were just a part of the air, like a ghost looming over your younger self. You're just some villain and I will defeat you, a kid yelled, holding up a stick like it was his sword. 2 other boys were behind him, pulling sticks just like what you assumed was their leader. Attack! You watched as the 2 boys ran over to your younger self, and decided to beat them with sticks. You stared and stared, letting yourself get beat up like this. It was a time that you wanted to forget. You managed to push it back into your memories so far back that you forgot the majority of your childhood. Different memories of different kids beating you up, saying the same thing. You're just some villain. Why would they say that? What did you do back then? Your vision turned black. You heard mumbles. Could it be your thoughts? The only thing you could really remember of your childhood was that you barely talked. You only talked when spoken to. That was how your parents always told you to do. Never speak unless asked or spoken to. They would say until it got burned into your memory. You are now in a classroom. Teacher was asking students what they wanted to be when they were older. They all responded with the same thing. I want to be a hero. You looked over to your younger self. Then you were called on. Guess it wasn't one of those voluntary things. Would this tell you why you would always get hit? Why they always called you a villain? Why they never left you alone, always picking on you, never giving you a break? Your voice came out, but you couldn't hear it. Your classmates all heard it perfectly fine, given the faces they were making towards you. Watch yourself sink down into the chair. That sounds cool, a random voice said. They'd been sitting behind you, was a little boy. Black hair, styled in an undercut. Top of his hair was messy, a wide, goofy grin. He had a missing tooth. He stared at the boy. He had weird elbows. What do you mean, cool? What was his name? Well, not everybody has to be a hero, you know? Like, there are doctors and firefighters, and you never know. Maybe they will become famous and you'll just be poor out on the streets. The boy smirked. He looked at you. The younger you blushed. Who was he? He's like around you, protecting you from bullies. Why does he look so familiar? He was your first friend. His elbows. You woke up from your dream, all sweaty, your heart thumping. It felt like I could pop out and run away on a vacation at any given moment. What the fuck? Once you had calmed down, you sat down at your bed. What the heck was up with that dream? You said to no one in particular. Not like there was anyone in your room at the moment. You looked up, laying your head down against the wall. You thought what could it have meant. It was clearly some kind of sign. But for what? The boy? Maybe. It wasn't the first time you had dreamt about him. Last time being at the hospital. You closed your eyes, exhaling deeply. What is up with that kid? Was it someone you knew? You thought about it long and hard for any resemblance to anyone you knew. Your eyes widened. It all clicked into place in your head. You snapped your fingers. It's you! You smiled as you began to laugh. It was you all along. Thank you for sitting through this heck of a long story with crap tons of mistakes. Like I said, lots of mistakes. Very much the longest story I have ever read on this channel. The longest was probably only 20 minutes, and maybe not even. So this legit took me, I would say, 2 hours to read through. Because I think the recordings would be around an hour and 45, so it's going to be about 2 hours, 2 hours and 15. I started this at 3 o'clock, and it's now 5:15. So, I hope you guys enjoyed all the effort put into this. I will be recording this and posting it as soon as I can. I'm still not tired, so I'll probably be chilling for a while, and I'll probably do the editing and posting same night, within the hour, I'll say. But I hope everybody has a good day, night, wherever you are, and I hope you guys, do well. Melon Cakes out.